The West Bank CDC is working with neighborhood residents and community partners to address safety issues in the Cedar East area of the neighborhood. This map shows the location of the area referred to as Cedar East. It extends from 5th Street on the north, along 20th Avenue on the east, down to I-94 on the south, and behind the retail shops along Cedar Avenue on the west. A focal point of the crime issues is the 5th Street Garden, which is shown here, located on 5th Street just off Cedar Avenue. Housing in Cedar East is much less dense than on the west side of Cedar. It's composed mostly of single-family and duplex homes. There are also townhome associations. There's a condo building. And there are small apartment buildings. It includes both rental and home ownership units. All of the residents of Cedar East pay fees for the maintenance and use of shared common areas, which include private streets such as 5th Street and 19th Avenue. There are green spaces on the interiors of blocks. Sometimes these are used for community events. And residents also share parking lots. The crime issue identified by residents is groups of young men hanging out in the private common areas and conducting illegal activity. This includes trespassing, suspected drug dealing. The drug dealing appears to be connected to Cedar Avenue. There's also a lot of vandalism of cars, car break-ins, and theft of automobiles. One night in the summer of 2013, 4 cars in this lot had their tires slashed. There's also constant graffiti. It gets put back up as soon as residents remove it. In November of 2013, there was a rash of muggings in the area. 3 residents of this building were mugged right in front of their homes on 5th Street during that 1 month. The young men also drink and urinate in public. They use harassing language and generally create an intimidating environment for residents of the area. Many residents are hesitant to talk about the issues because they do fear retaliation. However, when interviewed and guaranteed anonymity, many themes come up repeatedly. Residents say they're disrespected, they're intimidated, they have a lack of freedom, they feel unsafe, and they say they feel like the neighborhood is not ours. To combat this problem, the West Bank CDC, working with the 1st Precinct, has developed an aggressive no trespass enforcement policy for the Cedar East private commons. The strategy is based on the fact that, with the exception of 6th and 7th Streets, all of the land in Cedar East is private property, as shown on this diagram. All of the property within the red lines is private property. There are 2 basic tools available to property owners to enforce no trespassing laws. The first is the yellow sign tool, and the second is a strategy we intend to implement, which consists of the property owner issuing a no trespass notice to people on the property who have no legal right to be there. The yellow sign tool consists of an owner signing an authorization to the police department and posting a yellow no trespass sign in a visible location on the property. This authorizes police to remove trespassers from the property. The West Bank CDC, as owner of all of the common area and rental property in the Cedar East private commons, can issue a no trespass notice to intruders. This forbids them from returning to any property owned by the West Bank CDC for 1 year. If they do return, they can be arrested. The West Bank CDC will work with Minneapolis Police Department to issue no trespass notices to intruders. A list of trespassed intruders with pictures will be provided to patrol officers. Any intruders who have been trespassed from the property can be apprehended if they return within the 1 year period. Cameras can also document violations of the no trespass notice. It is important for residents to call 911 to report trespassers in the Cedar East private commons. After calling 911, we also want residents to call the West Bank CDC office to report the activity.